Hi there, my crafty friends. It is Ashley Pfeiffer, the maker behind Stamped AF. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada. I sell all of the products that I am about to demonstrate and would be thrilled for you to shop with me. So if you have any questions or you would like to shop with me, just click below, hit that big subscribe button below. But all the supplies will be listed as well as the link to my online store. So let's get our craft on. So we are going to be working with the Meant to Be stamp set and the Stitched Heart framelit dies. We are going to do a fun Valentine's Day card, and while I have been working with a lot of pinks and maybe the more subtle Valentine's palettes, we are going to be using Real Red and Basic Black and Whisper White. So let's start by stamping. We're going to use our Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Start with a D block, and we are going to do one of these lovelies. This is cut to 4 by 5 1/4 for an A2 sized card mat, but it is the scrap that I am choosing to use today. So there's a nice good image, but so move that big shot out of the way. Actually, well, we've got it out. The Well Said framelits in the Occasions catalog. Right now I have them on a 4 by 6 frame, and there's so much going on in one tiny little space. But let's cut the word love, and I think we will mount it on this little stitched piece. And I think we will do that with the Real Red. Now I am going to cut this little piece off because I don't want the pattern that's in my Big Shot plates to go into this entire sheet of cardstock. I hope that makes sense. When you've got well-used plates like this, the pattern from all of your previous cuts can go into your cardstock, and I don't want that on this full sheet or partial sheet of Real Red cardstock. Taking our paper piercing tool, we'll just pop that out. And they are just the cutest, tiniest little words. If you are a lover of word thinlits, I highly recommend this set. I only got the thinlits. I did not get the coordinating stamp set. The font is not one of my faves. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. So, the Well Said bundle. Let's zoom out again. It's too close. I am not a fan of this font. If you are, go for it, because you do save 10% when you order the bundle. But I just like the words. Sorry, now I've taken the lock off and the brightness is all screwy. But look at it. So many words. You get 24 dies. And I've cut them all out of white, Whisper White cardstock, and will attach them to my 8 by 10 frame once I have one. But I wanted to see all of the words just at a glance. So sympathy, love, friend, wishes, a whole slew of words. So I think that's it for now. Actually, no, it's not. I almost forgot the pièce de résistance on this card. Need one more scrap of Whisper White. I'm out of my Whisper White regular thickness, so I am using Whisper White thick for everything. We are going to take our lace embossing folder, and this is another item in the Occasions catalog, and I'm just trying to figure out which way I want it to go. We're going to ink it up with our basic gray. I had thought about doing Memento, but it's going to be a little too dark. So just ink this up. Not pressing too hard, just let it do its thing. Wipe away any excess. We're going to place that in here. And because this is a textured folder, whoops, look at all that ink. All we need is our basic platform and one plate. And we're just gonna run that through. I'm just gonna grab a baby wipe to get this ink off me. And gone. Okay, so now we have not only this beautifully embossed sheet of cardstock, but we've got detail that we didn't have before. We wouldn't have it if we hadn't inked that up. So I'm just going to wipe this off with my baby wipe as well to get it out of any of the grooves, so that the next time I go to emboss with it, I don't end up with a surprise with basic gray. Now, if you are new to my videos, you won't know that I clean up as I go. I'm sorry if it makes my videos a little longer, but it helps me. I find that if I'm trying to craft in a messy space, it kind of sucks my creativity up and stresses me out, and that's not what anyone is looking for when they're crafting. Am I right? Right. Okay, so the other thing we are going to do, I cut that little strip off of there, but we are also going to just take a little trimmer and let's take this down to where I cut that. So let's go to 4 7/8. You can go whatever you want. That just happened to be where mine was, and we'll do 3 3/4. I'm going to take my Stamparatus, save this little piece, and my buffalo check background stamp. I think this is by far my favorite background stamp. I hope this one never goes away. It was in the holiday catalog, but it did carry forward, so it will be coming into the, I hope it's coming into the next annual catalog. When I'm doing a background, I always put a little run of snail on the back. Press it down. Place my stamp on top. And we are going to use our Memento ink for this one. I find that if I rub it on first and then dab it, I get a better effect. Sometimes I like that kind of distress look, other times I want it to be perfectly inked. Really depends on the look that I'm going for in my card. So just press that down. Lovely. And we'll take that baby wipe again and just wipe this off with background stamps. Because there's so much ink on here, I wipe it with a baby wipe, but I also run it under my tap just to get any extra ink out. So I'm just going to set that aside after we pop this off. My Memento ink seems to be staying wet longer than I'm used to and longer than I would like it to. So I'll just set that aside for a few moments to let it dry. You could use your heat tool if you're in a hurry, but I have other things that I want to do anyway, so let's just set it aside. Close up these ink pads before we get it all over the place. I usually don't care so much about the ink that I have in my hands, but I don't want it transferring onto my work. Okay, so you can see that we have a background and we have an embossed piece here. We obviously can't use both of those on one card as full sheets. So we are going to cut this with one of our hearts. Or are we? Actually, no. Let's use one of the stitched framelit dies. And you can see I don't have all of mine here. I've got my stamp club coming up and I have what I need for that set aside. So let's use this one here. I'm gonna cut this one just outside of the shot. You've already seen me use the big shot a couple of times, so I don't think you need to see me do this part. So if you couldn't tell already, we are going to do a nice layered card. Now the beauty with these double stitched framelit dies, I'm just straightening it out. I find once it's gone through the big shot, it tends to warp just a little bit. And if you bend it ever so slightly, it goes right back. And that is important for me because I'm keeping them on these magnetic sheets, the frames, so I want them to lie flat. So no bowing. As I was saying, the beauty of these stitched, double stitch framelits is that you have it on both the positive and the negative. So beautiful. Okay, so we've got a little piece there. We've got our stitched kind of frame. This is from the Stitched All Around bundle. And we're just going to put a little bit of Tombow on here. I could have used the multi-purpose adhesive sheets when doing this, but it's just one word, one layer, so I tend to reserve the adhesive sheets for bigger projects where I know it's going to be cumbersome to use Tombow. And the biggest thing with the multi-purpose adhesive sheets is remembering that you have them and remembering to use them before you die cut. It would be amazing if we could use them after the fact, but usually it takes doing a big project where you should have used them to realize that you need to think of them more often. Okay, so that's going to be a little part there. Now I do have some real red ribbon, and unfortunately I do not think this is still current. It is the 1/4 inch real red ribbon. Now there's a number of different ribbons you can use instead. I'm thinking actually there is this black cord ribbon. I'm so sorry, my arms are probably right in the way. I've got my ribbon right behind where the camera gets mounted. So what we could do is use this black cord and just tie it like that. You never want to put it in going straight and straight. You really don't want to put it in like that either. You want to put it in on an angle. You will get less of that awful cracking sound. You will get a much better cut. No big clunk. And it will come out much easier from the thinlet. So there we go. You can see through the holes. I'm not sure if you can on the video, but if I had done it just straight through, you wouldn't be able to see through these holes because it wouldn't get a really good cut like that just did. Okay, here we go. Let's try this again. So we can put that on an angle. We can put it perfectly straight. We can put this on an angle. And let's start stacking. few pieces that I had cut before. So I've got a vellum heart. So I think we need to soften it just a little bit. And now that we've got all this red down, I'm going to use a heart that I had done previously instead of that red one, because now that we're right on the red, there is too much red. We can pop that heart on top, and there we go. I'm liking that a whole lot better than I was initially. So let's just adhere everything down, figure out which bow we're going to use, or sorry, ribbon. We'll just run a line of Tombow on here. There is a white scalloped heart in here, which would work perfectly. I think I saw a little real red heart in here, but I could be wrong. Okay, so let's see how it looks with these ones. I'm trying to go for a layered look here, and sometimes it comes easy and sometimes you have to work at it. But that's all part of the process, friends. Now, if we had, see, I think that's going to be too much. Too much. Okay, I'm liking that. So let's just put a glue dot on our vellum. One in the middle should be enough. We're going to put some Tombow on this guy. Let's move that one up. It was a little bit too low. Now, if you don't have the hands or the time to hold down everything you need, just use a clear block. And you could pop any of these up on dimensionals. That one will go up on a dimensional, as will this. And let's just tie a knot in here. I don't find this black cording gives the best bows. So let's just do a rough knot. And it's thick enough that it shouldn't come through, but we're also going to adhere it down so that it can't come through. Trim off these ends. With this black cord, it doesn't really matter if you fray the ends because the ribbon itself frays. Okay, so let's pop that up on some minis. And this cording itself is going to keep this popped up. 4 might even be more than we needed, but I always err on the side of too much. Whoops, oh no, that one came undone. Of course, it waits till it's adhered to pop up. Give it a really good pull and just cut it again. And if it comes out again, that's it. Take it off. Okay, so all that's left is this little guy. And I think he probably just needs one regular size dimensional. There. So not exactly the way it started coming together, but I know some people believe that it should all be laid out right at the very beginning, but I do like to show that the process can evolve as you go. So, well, this isn't exactly what I had in my mind. It is pretty darn close, and I actually prefer it over what I had started out making. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you would like to order either the stamp set or the framelits or both as a bundle where you save 10% and you live in Canada, I would be happy to be your demonstrator. Just shoot me a message at stampedaf@gmail.com or come to my website, stampedaf.ca, Facebook, Instagram, any of those methods, or just look me up on stampinup.com. Thank you for joining me, friends. I hope you will consider hitting that subscribe button below to catch a new video each and every week. Bye.